1, 2, 3.
Probably say I'm the best. I always used to get bullied because they were just bigger than me, but I was going for Fiji back then, so it'd be an honour for me to make the World Cup team.
Still with a penalty advantage. Valetini trying to do it himself. Bobby V goes in.
I actually don't remember how I first got into rugby. The last thing I remember was just playing rugby down at Harlequins Rugby Club in Melbourne. My whole family played it. My dad played it as well. It just started from there, and then had cousins as well. Being a Fijian, yeah, we were just playing rugby for fun and yeah, just enjoying it. All my brothers and that played in the backs. My dad and me were the only forwards. But growing up, I was a winger, so I was quite skinny and I think pretty fast. My parents, I think, bought us a PlayStation over the holidays, for school holidays, and sort of just got stuck on that for the holidays and just was eating a bit, and then eventually got pretty big. So the next season moved into the flanks.
Here's Valetini now, and another strong carry from Rob Valetini.
When I was younger, my brothers and I used to play in our backyard or just down the road. We always used to go like at each other, like 1v1 or something. I always used to get bullied because they were just bigger than me, as I'm the youngest in the family. But yeah, boys still love it. Boys still play as well. Some down in Melbourne, and brother playing in Shoot Shield. He's actually on trial at the moment with Fiji Draw. So hopefully something comes of that, so I can reverse him and bash him. I always want to make my family proud. I wouldn't be here without them. They're my #1 supporters all the time. Always messaging me. Yeah, just grateful for them.
The emotion, the heart, we've seen it all. Fiji win.
Yeah, the first World Cup I watched was the 2007 World Cup, but I was going for Fiji back then, so yeah, I used to go for Fiji back then. Probably one of the games that stood out for me was when they beat Wales. Probably Valemoni Dalasel, the winger, because I was a winger growing up, so I sort of wanted to be like him. Yeah, he was just a good winger back then and scored some amazing tries for Fiji. Yeah, that's probably my first memory of the World Cup.
He's a local Victorian Melbourne boy. He played 16s, 18s and 20s with the Victorian team.
So I first moved to Canberra after school. I was playing in the Rebels 20s there. We had a trial match in Wagga against the Brumbies under 20s. Yeah, I sort of just got picked up from there. I heard they were interested in me, and then went up for an interview with Dan McKellar and Stephen Larkin. Yeah, moved down at the end of the year for pre-season. Family comes up a few times to Canberra, usually for big games or just whenever they want to come up. But yeah, played France down in Melbourne last year. Yeah, it was so good to have my first game there, especially in a Wallabies jersey down in Melbourne. Yeah, so it was good to have them come along. I felt it was pretty special this year against the All Blacks when we had to verse them at Marvel Stadium. I had family there, and a lot of Melbourne boys were picked for that game as well, so I think we're pretty hyped.
And here is Wallaby number 929, Rob Valetini.
Yeah, it sort of happened during the World Cup preparation. I think I was playing in Melbourne, NRC, and sort of got the call from Checker at the time to go over to potentially play against Samoa, and then told my family as well. So they flew up to my game at a Combank Stadium in Parramatta. Called my parents, and they were pretty proud of me, and I think that's what makes me happy, is making them proud. So yeah, it was unreal.
He's done it 2 weeks on the spin with the opening try, Bobby V.
Yeah, I sort of just put it down to my training, just with Brumbies. I thought I was training a bit better. I'm pretty big on training well, and if I train well during the week, then I can perform on the weekends. Yeah, and then obviously being my second year on spring tour, I knew it was coming, so sort of just had to go out there and try to play the best of my ability. And you're versing probably the best teams in the world at the moment when you're on spring tour, so yeah, it was a challenge that I was up for. So yeah, just had to try to take it to them. When you're building from Brumbies, and then you can take that into Wallabies, your partnership, or people that you've been training with, sweating out with during pre-season, or week in, week out, and then you did that at Wallabies. I think it builds a better connection.
That's the comeback that the Wallaby fans were looking for.
Yeah, I was probably heading out to the Eiffel Tower, something pretty cool for me, and then we went on a little bus tour around France. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Also went to Rome, and I saw the Colosseum with the food boys. So yeah, it was just an unreal tour for me. Somewhere that I had fun and enjoyed playing my rugby. So yeah.
The Wallabies win at Murrayfield. What a start to their tour.
Some boys bring up the PlayStation and we play in camp quite a bit and have a bit of competition there with NBA and FIFA. I'd probably say I'm the best. Nah, it's quite a few boys that are pretty good at it. So yeah, it's usually out of me and Pistol. Me and him have a bit of a wager going there, a bit of back and forth as well. Keeps us busy when when there's nothing else to do. So especially being in Canberra as well, there's not much to do, so we just verse each other a few times.
And Australia are through to the World Cup final. They've beaten their oldest and fiercest rivals, New Zealand.
Yeah, it would be an honour for me to make the World Cup team. It's a goal of mine. I feel like it's the top of rugby union, so yeah, to go there and play on the world stage as big as the World Cup and versus the best teams and a tournament like that. I've heard so many great stories about World Cup, so if I could be a part of it and go out there and play to the best of my abilities, yeah, it would be an honour for me, not only for me but for my family as well. So yeah, definitely if I head over, family will come. It just depends who's paying for the flights, me or them. But yeah, it would be an honour for me to go out there and play if I'm selected.